I'll start by going over results at the end of the third quarter. Net sales rose 19.7% year-on-year to 54 billion yen. Operating profit was up 17.1% to 6.58 billion yen. Ordinary profit increased 25.2% to 6.56 billion yen. And net profit rose 2.52% to 2.7 billion yen due to tax effect in the previous term. Moving on, let's take a look at the highlights of this term. A global downward trend in the securities market led to decreases in both earnings and profit in the securities segment. However, web infrastructure and internet media remained strong in the third quarter. The segment breakdown below shows that profit rose 76% in web infrastructure. Last year, the investment phase in cloud services was complete, and from this term, cloud moves into the profit contribution phase. Profit in internet media also rose 21%, driven by listing advertising and smartphone-related services. While performance in the securities segment has been influenced by market conditions, we believe these are short-term factors that do not influence the qualities, the strengths of our offerings, and we remain committed to expanding market share in the mid to long term. In regard to growth strategy, Daily Deals website, Kumapon, achieved its first month of profitability approximately 2 years after the service was introduced. Smartphone game platform, GG, reached 18 million members, and we are very happy with its growth as a game platform. Our initial goal was to reach 18 million members by the end of 2012, and this has now been achieved 2 months ahead of target. Monetization of the service has also begun, and I will be talking about that in more detail later on in this presentation. The next slide shows third quarter results as a percentage of year-end forecasts. At the end of third quarter, we want to be at 75%, and despite the drop in profit caused by market conditions in the securities segment, we are almost at that level. Progress toward forecast year-end net profit is 62%. Currently, we do not have any concerns about meeting forecast net profit for the year, provided market conditions do not continue to worsen in November and December. The next item is financial results. Profit and loss condition is as I explained in the previous section. Extraordinary profit included a negative goodwill gain after FX Prime joined the group. The next slide shows consolidated balance sheet. For your reference, GMO Click Holdings balance sheet is provided on the far right. Approximately 80% of the group's 200 billion in current assets are accounted for by securities business customer assets. There have been no significant changes to the balance sheet in the past 3 months. Moving on to cash flow. Operating cash flow was 430 million yen, and cash at the end of the term totaled 39.65 billion yen. The variation in operating cash flow is a result of fluctuations in customer assets in GMO Click Holdings, as shown on the far right. This is a factor not at all related to the group's ability to generate cash flow. I'll move on to the segment report now. This is a diagram of business segment composition. The group is divided into 4 business segments. The 3 segments in the upper part of the diagram are established business segments: web infrastructure and e-commerce, internet media, and internet securities. In the lower part of the diagram is the social media and smartphone platform segment. The orange areas represent synergies in group marketing.
濃いオレンジ色の部分が共同マーケティング、集客のシナジーなどを示しております。
The products in the infrastructure segment are number 1 in the Japan market, and in securities and smartphone, customer base is growing at a rapid pace. The business environment has improved and the smartphone market has continued to grow. As a result, market share growth has accelerated across all segments.
さらにここ近年のスマートフォンの普及が追い風となり、事業環境がより改善しております。結果といたしまして、全セグメントでマーケットシェアの拡大が加速をいたしております。
The group continues to focus on developing its strength in technology. Approximately 1,000 of our staff are engineers or creators.
私どもグループの宝でありますエンジニア・クリエイターの総数は約1000人の規模感となっております。
We're continuing to improve employee benefits, and we are also actively seeking to expand our workforce internationally. The next slide shows net sales. Overall, net sales increased 19.7% year-on-year. Net sales in web infrastructure and internet media rose 24.2% and 22.5% respectively. I often tell you that our business model is a stable one, but I think you will see accelerated growth in our business in the next few years.
近年成長スピードが加速している点をご確認いただけると思います。
Operating profit is as you see here. Overall, there was a 17.1% year-on-year increase. In web infrastructure, operating profit rose 40.5% and in internet media 31.1%. I'd like to draw your attention to the investment represented here. Up until this quarter, we have invested 1.5 billion in the smartphone and social segment, and this quarter we invested a further 500 million yen. Next year, we expect this business to no longer be running at a loss. So even in growth in other segments remains flat, you could expect operating profit to reach at least 11 billion yen at the end of the next fiscal year. ソーシャルスマホ事業がトントンからプラスに転じるだけで90億プラス20億で110億円の通期営業利益が見えています。 Let's take a look at the web infrastructure and e-commerce segment. This slide shows the composition of web infrastructure and e-commerce segment. We have pursued a number 1 strategy for 13 years, and we will continue to do so going forward. In regard to highlights, GMO Internet was ranked in the top 10 .com.net domain registrars worldwide. According to our own research, we believe we hold 86.5% of the Japanese GTLD market. So when you do a search on Google or Yahoo in Japan, you can expect around 86% of the results to be domains under our management. The web infrastructure segment has 4.26 million customer contracts. This is a 17% increase in the past 12 months. As purely organic growth, we are very happy with this growth rate.
母数がある中でのオーガニックなグロースといたしましては驚異的な成長スピードであると自負しております。このウェブインフラ EC 事業の売上
In the web infrastructure and e-commerce segment, net sales increased 24.2% to 22.1 billion yen. Domain, web hosting, and payment processing were earning drivers. This graph shows net sales and operating profit in this segment over the past 3 years. You can see here that growth has accelerated since 2011.
2011年度以降、成長スピードが加速していることがご確認いただけると思います。続きまして、インタ
Now
ー
I'll
ネ
move
ッ
on
ト
to the
メディア
internet
事業
media
の
segment.
足元のご説明をさせていただきます。
Net sales in internet media grew 39.6% to 19.5 billion yen. Group companies GMO Ad Partners and GMO Nico are driving growth in this segment.
GMO 日興が成長を牽引しております。
This graph shows net sales and operating profit in internet media over the past 3 years. Growth over the previous 12 months was 21%. Accounting for seasonal factors such as fewer business days in the third quarter, you can see that growth momentum was maintained. The next segment I'll discuss is Internet Securities. This graph shows business performance in the Internet Securities segment. While market conditions have impacted current results, we are confident this segment will continue to grow as we continue to expand market share and move into international markets. We have the number 1 share in the FX market in Japan. You can see that DMM's share has increased sharply here. This is a result of its acquisition of part of Gaitame Japan's FX business. We will also report soon on our market position once trading by FX Prime customers is reflected in our trading volume market share. Moving on to the next slide, I'd like to report on the tender offer for FX Prime. The purchase is now complete and the two businesses are already generating synergies that have resulted in reduced spreads and stronger promotional campaigns. FX Prime's PL will be consolidated from the fourth quarter. As you can see, we are also continuing to expand our share in the securities trading market. Right now, we are in the number 3 position with an 11% share of trading volume. On October 12th this year, the Kanto Finance Bureau imposed a business improvement order on GMO Click Securities. We sincerely apologize to GMO Click Securities users and regret any inconvenience caused. Details are as you see here.
GMO クリック証券のユーザーの皆様には多大なるご迷惑をおかけし、心よりお詫びを申し上げます。詳細につきましてはご覧いただいている通りでございます。
We're committed to further strengthening and enhancing its internal management structure going forward. The final segment I'll report on today is social media and smartphone platform. In the social media and smartphone platform business, you can see that we have been investing 400 to 500 million yen in this segment every quarter. The social apps business is already contributing to profit, and Kumapon achieved its first month of profitability this quarter. That now leaves only Gigi. The graph on the left shows sales, operating profit, and membership for daily deals service, Kumapon. 23 months after it was established, Kumapon has achieved a profit. Going forward, we will continue to develop this revenue stream through initiatives including partnerships with major internet community sites and smartphone applications.
スマホのアプリに注力することにより収益源に育ててまいりたいと考えております。最後に成長戦略、本日は時間の関係で G ゲーにつきまして皆様にご報告申し上げたいというふうに思います。まず最重要の
Firstly, the most critical KPI, membership acquisition. At the beginning of this year, we started out with 2 million members and a goal of reaching 18 million by the end of the year. That goal was reached at the end of October. In regard to new user acquisition, over the past week, we have gained 120 to 130,000 new users worldwide a day. Even we are surprised at the rate of growth. Previously, we have reported a growth rate of 30 to 40,000 members a day. We believe this accelerated user acquisition is a result of consistently fine-tuning of the business, rapid growth in the smartphone market, and strong marketing. In the final 2 months of 2012, we expect membership to exceed 20 million. The next topic is one I know that investors are interested in, monetization. Since July, we have introduced a total of 9 titles with the objective of monetizing the service. Excalibur Minerva Knights. Minerva Knights is an original title developed by GG. And the game you see on the far right is an updated version of existing title, Master of Goldfish, which now includes in-game purchases and other features. Here are some more of the monetization titles. Garuran and Mamoribito were both developed by our social apps business, so you can see the synergy in this segment. We plan to continue introducing new casino, simulation, RPG, and other types of games. The final graph shows net sales for GG. As you can see, monetization titles were introduced in July, and in October, sales reached around 60 million yen. And based on figures for the first day of November, we expect sales to exceed 100 million this month. A further 6 monetization titles will be introduced within the year. This combined with existing titles and a 20 million strong membership base. We expect GG to become profitable in the next quarter, or at the latest, in the first quarter of next year.
足元スマートフォンの台数は、世界で13億台と言われております。一方ですね、かつてのゲームプラットフォームであります、任天堂様の DS やソニー様の PSP、こちらの累積販売台数は6000万台と危機を読んでいます。すでに全世界では20倍もの歴史史上最大のゲームプラットフォームとなり得るスマートフォンの普及を見ておりまして、スマートフォンユーザーの4から5割の方はゲームで遊ばれています。このスマートフォン革命は言い方を変えるとライトゲームユーザー革命だというふうに認識をしておりまして、私どものこの G ゲーに対する投資はやはり正しかったんだと本日現在確信をしております。以上をもちまして、第3クォーターのご説明会ご報告を終了させていただきたいと思います。本日は遅い時間にもかかわらず
Thank you for your time today. Internet for everyone.